Welcome back, El Paso. Another segment of Local Icons, and we have an amazing and special guest with us today. Somebody that's been in the realm, in the singing realm, the artistic realm for quite some time. His name is Robert Madrid, also known as Bebop, and he has an amazing story to tell you guys. So let's welcome him, Mr. Bebop. Come on out, please. How are you, my man? Good, good. Have a seat, have a seat. And this is going to be a very interesting interview because this is the first time you and I meet ever.
Yeah, for sure, man.
And most of our guests have been, acquaintances, somebody that we've, met down the last 10 years or so.
Yeah.
And I actually heard from you because one of our crew members mentioned that you have a great story to tell and an experience, with the artistic group that I think everybody knows. But before we get to that point, I want you to tell us and tell our viewers who exactly is Robert Madrid and how Bebop, aka Bebop, came about.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, first of all, I appreciate you guys having me on. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Beautiful in here, man.
Hey, we're just
I know you guys
something
are doing a lot
new.
of work. Yeah, for sure. But as far as me, I don't just do music on the side. I'm also an entrepreneur, so I own a restaurant and an IT company as well. But I've been kind of contemplating lately because I don't know if I should keep those separate or just put them to one account,
Okay.
But I'm all over the place, bro. It's just part of who I am.
So, Robert Madrid, where is Robert Madrid from? Is it born and raised in El Paso?
Yes.
Siblings? What school did you go to? Give us that background real quick.
Okay, cool, man. Yeah, I'm from here. I'm from El Paso, Texas. Born and raised back in the day. I don't want to say the year, then you guys will know my age, but no, I'm just fine.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, for sure.
You're like, our bodies tell the truth, man.
I told them earlier I'm trying to hide my dad bod right here.
It's all good, man.
See me crouching a little bit,
Yeah,
you know why?
you're like trying to hide from the
for
table.
sure. No, but I grew up, started off in like the Riverside area when I was little.
Okay.
And I moved to the east side maybe around 8 years old. Ended up graduating from Outwood High School in the early 2000s, 2003 to be exact. And my music journey kind of started in high school, but it's kind of weird. Like, I've always had the business mindset since I was young. I kind of knew that I wanted to start my own businesses and go that route as well. So I've kind of been dabbling in everything since then,
Yeah, you're actually, jack of all trades, man. Everything you've done, you've been hitting.
For sure.
I mentioned when we introduced the show that he's a local artist, but I might add that he's a producer and an entrepreneur, as he mentioned. Some of the things that I'm gonna tap into, a little bit in just a little bit. But I want you to tell us your first major encounter in the music industry, because you were fiddling, working with, I don't know, you might want to explain, with the Kumbia Kings.
Yeah.
Big group, man. I honestly, when those jams come on, whether it's on the radio,
for sure,
at
bro.
the gym, or in quinceañeras, it gets you moving, man.
Quinces for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So tell us, how did that happen? How did you get into working with the Kumbia Kings?
Well, it started, I must have been maybe like 16 when I started actually working on music, and I didn't have a lot of money, so I had to learn how to do a lot of shit on my own, So I started learning how to make music and how to write my own songs, because I couldn't pay anybody else to do it.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of led me to recording my own material, and I landed this Dr. Pepper tour, where I was opening up for Pitbull and Frankie J at the time. I think I mentioned this before in a different interview. I don't know how many of you guys follow me, but back in the day, I think Frankie J was a little more popular than Pitbull, but for that specific Dr. Pepper tour, I was opening up for both of them. And after that...
So you were doing concerts?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. And how old were you? How old were you?
I must have been, at that time, maybe like 19 years old.
Jesus Christ. So you hadn't been in the game that long, maybe 3 years or so.
Years, yeah.
And the music that you were performing with is all original stuff.
All original stuff, yeah.
No bands, no nothing, just
I had backup dancers, but that's about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a lot of work, man. It's
sure.
a lot of work to put shows like that together.
Yeah, it is.
But honestly, I wasn't at the time. I wasn't really like even listening to the Kumbia Kings that much. But for some reason, they came into town, and I don't remember the reason why, but I went to go watch them, and they were actually singing a lot of R&B songs during their set. So I was like, shit, that's pretty tight. So I wanted to talk to the manager to maybe try to get on tour with them or something, right?
Yeah.
So they asked me to sing on spot right when I went up to talk to them, because all of them, it was like after the show. I don't remember how I got backstage, but I just found a way to get back there, right? So they made me sing on spot, and what happened is they asked me to join the group and to tour with them for a couple of shows. And that led to a record deal with their road manager. He ended up starting his own thing, and I signed with them.
Cool.
Moved to Dallas for like 5 years, so I had a record deal over there. But it all stemmed from that Kumbia Kings experience.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
So you ended up doing several shows on stage with them?
Yeah, and it was so when the Kumbia Kings first split up, the original members broke off and started a group called Kings One, or K1, they would call themselves.
Yeah.
It was with them that I was touring with.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what songs were they famous for that you ended up performing or singing with them?
Azúcar, for one.
Azúcar?
Yeah.
Oh.
You know what's crazy, bro? Is that,
even our crew here is like, oh, Azúcar.
you know what's crazy is that my Spanish was horrible, dude. And that day that I sang for them, they said, "Hey, can you start like in a couple days?" First of all, my Spanish is bad. Second, I didn't really know their songs like that to where I could sing them.
Yeah.
So what I did, I bought one of those wristbands, those like NFL style wristbands.
Yeah.
I bought a white one, and I taped the white paper to the wristband with the lyrics. So I was on stage with them, looking down at my wrist like almost probably the whole time.
Wow.
The very first show I did with them, yeah. It was a good experience.
Is there footage of that? You think there's footage?
If there is, it was a show here at the Coliseum. This must have been like in the early 2000s.
Because nowadays, something like that would have been on TMZ or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's funny, right?
Well, that's cool, man. I mean,
Yeah, man.
you know, it's definitely a story that you know, that talks about, you know, building the building blocks, whether it be a career path or a performing path. It doesn't matter. This segment is designed to motivate and inspire. So I want to know. I'm going to go a little deeper. How, before you were 16 when you started writing, how did the singing come about? I mean, did you take lessons? Did you be in the choir? Were you in the choir in school? Or is it just something that you're just like, I'm going to start singing?
Yeah, it was that.
Really?
Yeah, because I never wanted to sing, honestly. My dad sings. He's in bands. He's been in bands his whole life since he was 15 here. But me personally, I started off breakdancing in school. I didn't care about singing.
Is that how Bebop came about?
No, actually, that's kind of weird. Honestly, I don't know. I always ask my family because they're the ones that started calling me that since I was little. From what I understand, it's because there's a lot of Roberts in the family.
Okay.
And it didn't start off as Bebop. It started off as Bebop with a B.
Okay.
I always thought it was with a P. So I didn't know what the hell it meant. So one day I looked it up, but I looked it up with a P. And it's a style of jazz where it's like improvised sections, right?
Oh, wow.
So like a lot of the parts on the song, they're not rehearsed.
Okay.
It's just improvised on spot, and I felt like it matched my personality.
Cool.
So I just kept the name.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So going back to that singing, so your dad was in bands. We got sidetracked a little bit.
Yeah.
How did you end up like just taking off with the singing?
Oh, that's what I was gonna tell you. So I didn't even really want to sing. The only times I would sing, my friends would ask me to sing for girls, so that they could get the girls. Yeah, I was never the one that got them.
Never was the one that got them.
But
You were the hook.
Yeah, exactly. Got him. They were using me for that. So it started off as that, man, and then maybe in high school, I saw Frankie J. He was actually one of the Kumbia Kings. I saw him come out on TV. Saw that he was Hispanic and he was singing R&B. And at that time, there was really nobody that was Hispanic that was singing R&B on the mainstream. You know what I mean? So I started thinking to myself, like, if he can do it, I think I could probably do it as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's when it all started. That's when it clicked. Like, shit, I'm gonna take this seriously and try to actually make something happen.
And immediately when you started singing, people were already complimenting you for your style, for your voice.
Oh, for sure. But on the flip side, like if I go back to my original songs that I've ever written, I'd be too embarrassed to show them here, bro. Like, they're bad. Even some of my vocals are bad.
Well, I believe we have some footage of your good stuff.
Okay, cool.
That you provided our team with. So let's take a quick little break and let's go to this reel that we have of Mr. Bebop.
I've been hustling, I've been struggling, doing my thing up in the street, just to get something to eat. Oh, and I've been grinding.
Jesus, Bebop, man, I had never seen this, and I'm glad that we rolled this because this is old. This is an old video. This is about 15. You can tell.
Bro. Honestly, that's probably 2007. Maybe 13 years.
But you got a voice, and just during this break, I was asking you if you've been formally trained. And no, it's just raw talent, man.
Yeah, I wish, man, because I think I could be better if I was formally trained. But
this is, I mean, putting videos like that, you know, where it's raw, it has no edits, it has no filters that now everybody uses. It shows, how talented you really, really are.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
So props for that. But you've also done some music videos that we might roll out in a little bit. You've done some of your own music and you put videos to it. I'm sure you invested money and time into a lot of other work. What are you most proud of, during that phase of your life? Because I know then came business, later on. But what is, a highlight that you're mostly proud of? I know that knowing that you work with the Kumbia Kings, that's huge, or K1.
Yeah.
What else? I mean,
honestly,
is there
what sticks to my mind, bro, when it comes to the music? This one moment I remember, back when I had a record deal in Dallas. I worked with a rapper from there in Dallas. His name's Big Gemini, and I did a song with him, and that song got national radio play. So I had to go to a wedding in Vegas. So I went with my dad, his girlfriend, and some other family members. But when we landed in Vegas and we got the rental car, the moment we turned the radio on, the song was playing on the radio, bro.
Oh.
So I remember that feeling. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty tight.
That's
Like,
dope.
you can really accomplish shit if you just stick to it, man.
Put your heart,
Yeah.
put your mind to it.
For sure.
Absolutely. I was not too long ago, I was telling a friend of mine, actually it was some kids. There is no risk opening a business or doing what you gotta do if you know you're not gonna quit. If you're in a quitter, there's no risk.
For sure.
You gotta put your heart to it. You're gonna fall 10, 20, 30 times, but if you know you're gonna get up every time, there's no risk whatsoever.
For sure. Oh, dude, I've taken plenty of L's.
Exactly.
Especially in the music industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've been booed.
Yeah.
That felt shitty, you know.
Yeah, of
but
course.
you gotta get through things like that, man.
Yeah,
It just makes you stronger.
So somehow you parted ways with the music industry and became an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
How did that happen, and what did you build?
There was a point in my record deal where nothing was happening. So I was coming back and forth to El Paso and Dallas pretty often. And my girlfriend at the time ended up pregnant, my first child. So I tried to make it work the first maybe 6 months to where I was coming back and forth, and I couldn't take it, bro. I had to come back for my daughter, you know.
Yeah.
And then after she was born, she got pregnant with my son, and that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta do some shit to help their lives. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I always knew I would come back to music, and I feel like that moment in my life, I didn't care. Some people say maybe you're too old, like at a certain age and stuff,
Yeah.
but I never felt that way. So I knew I'd come back to it at some point. So I went to school for IT, specifically cybersecurity. So I actually do that too, man. Do a lot of things, bro. But I went to school for cybersecurity, stayed in that path. I actually teach at a college right now for cybersecurity. Yeah.
So
But,
you're a professor,
I am, yeah,
and-
instructor.
and you have your music. You produce music, and you also have a business.
Yeah.
Aside from that.
So I'm half owner of a sports bar on the east side, on the far east side, called the Arena.
Okay.
So I do a lot of things, man. I honestly, and I like it that way.
Yeah.
I like learning a bunch of different shit, and I've just kind of like brought myself up that way, man. Like I told you earlier, I didn't have a lot of money, so I had to learn how to do a lot of shit on my own.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of naturally like that.
That's good. And you know what speaks thousands of you when you say you know when you had your kids and your family, the game changed.
For
You
sure.
know, I can relate dramatically because I was in LA doing this whole modeling and acting thing in early 2000s or late 90s, early 2000s, and I decided to kind of leave it alone and return to somewhat of the production life, and I did it, you know, but somehow we ended up in this under the
Yeah, bro,
spotlight
it's
again.
steady.
Yeah,
It looks good, man.
thank you. What's next for Bebop? I mean, since you're a professor, you're into the cybersecurity, you know, you have a bar, but your music is obviously your passion, and that's a natural talent that I think that you got to use, and you're by any means old at all. I think you have a lot to come. I mean, you're in a good time of your life.
Yeah, man. So I've been recording a lot actually this past year. Haven't released anything. I've just been recording a lot and seeing where that goes.
Do you have your own studio to record now? or-
Yeah, I have my own little setup. So going back to like not having money, I found, and this is weird because it's actually what got me into the IT stuff too. I had a hand-me-down computer that was broken back when I was 16, and I didn't have anything to record myself with, so I had to learn how to fix the computer so that I can get software on there to record myself. So that kind of got me into both things at the same time.
How weird.
It's kind of weird, but yeah. So that's led me to always not needing anybody, and I don't mean that you don't need anybody, but I think it's been a strength of mine that if need be, I can do it on my own.
Yeah.
If I have to, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, you start building those skills
Yeah.
that push you through no matter what, and not having the money and the resources forces you, man. It's do or die, you know. Well, that's cool, man. That's awesome. You're gonna get into, or you've been recording. The first thing that you said in this interview, you say your accounts. You're wondering if you're gonna merge them. Where would you like people to find you and to keep following, you know, updating with what Bebop has to offer?
I'm most active on Instagram, so it's just 6 letters. I am BBOP.
I am BBOP.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the best place.
I'm Bebop.
Yeah.
I'm Bebop.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, Mr. Bebop, thank you so much for joining us. It's always, a pleasure learning from you, local artists, and in your case, an entrepreneur as well. I'm sure a lot of people can benefit from these inspiring stories. Thank you once again for being here, my man. All right.
For having me on.
Appreciate it so much. Guys, this was Bebop. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you guys on the next
Peace out.
one.
En ese momento privado tiene una mirada que tienta, y cuando la toco muy lento su cuerpo se me arrienta. Dale, primero prendemos las velas, si ella se me entrega yo te lo hago sin frena, le doy todo lo que quiera, nena. Yo te lo juro, nunca me olvidarás. En el oscuro todas las reglas se van. Solo somos entrando en calor y no se pone peor. Ella me embrola, se descontrola, mami. Muévete, ven y entrégate. Yo quiero besarte, déjame amarte. Oh.
Yo, check out Live and Talented every Friday on Facebook and YouTube.